Kamen Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube! Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review for Kamen Rider Geo episode 6. Yes, this was 6, because this is the third two-parter. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, whatever. Is it 6? Yes, let's say it. So, this was a very good episode. In fact, for me personally, I would say this is Geo's strongest outing so far. I talked about last week's episode review that I liked how they made it a hybrid. I thought that was cool. It changed the status quo up and was also a good way of mixing things up given that they didn't have, you know, Fourze's actors, so they kind of, you know, compromised by merging it with Faize's, and they had kind of cool, like, opposing themes, but that also kind of went together. But I thought this was overall just really strong. Like, you had this little bit of an investigation element to it, trying to figure out how did this guy become Faize and Fourze. And when they went back to Faize times, a detail I appreciated was the dark, rainy vibe very much echoed Faize, which I thought was really nice, because it was definitely a different time for Rider. Right down to the cinematography, things just felt different. So I appreciated that little touch. I think they outright used footage from Faize in this, which was kind of neat. But yeah, and basically, like, his friend got hit by a car, and he's been saving her life all these years by stealing other Libra girls. I kind of wish, I think I saw somebody on Twitter say this, I don't remember who, and I'm sorry, but say that it would have been cool if they somehow tied this girl's immortality to an Orphanoch. Like, maybe she became an Orphanoch, but the only way to keep her alive was this still, because the Orphanochs we all eventually faded anyway. That could have been kind of cool. But regardless, I felt the general idea of it felt very Faize, to use a technical term, Faize. But so yeah, he was using the power of another Faize to do that all these years, and then when he weakened, he got Fourze, like, put over it to make him more powerful. And it gave this, not only the story, but the another Rider character. And it actually, I mean, of course, for for Ex-Aid and Build, we did get stories for the Riders, like why they're being chosen to get this another ride watch. But I was actually thinking in this episode, it would be really cool if every another Rider actually had a full-on storyline. I don't mean like for the whole show, but this one felt like this another Rider had an identity. Like, I'm gonna remember another Faize/Fourze as a villain. And especially since they're, like, kind of a writer, I think it would be kind of cool to actually give them a more memorable storyline. Like, I don't remember why Bills was chosen. I kind of remember Ex-Aid's with, like, his kid, but I think that would be cool. I think that worked really well to make it feel like an actual character instead of just a mindless monster. Made it interesting. And I like how they kind of tied the themes and vibes from both Faize and Fourze, and then you have like the dual fights, because he sent back Gates with the Faize ride watch, and he's fighting in the past, while Geo's fighting in the future with Fourze's watch. Really cool, like some dual stuff there, cool fights. Gates is like all of them are instant henshin because they don't have a full-on morph sequence, but his like henshin fight, like when he was, you know, fighting him and then he went into a henshin, looked really cool. But also, other than I thinking the phones look a little kind of silly, the Faize form on, or the Faize armor on Gates looks really, really good. And I like how he uses like the little finishers and stuff from Faize, which obviously makes sense. But I thought that was really well done. I like how the whole scene was structured with the final fights and the girl talking to her friend about, like, don't keep wasting your life for me. And like the music that played, I thought it was very well done. And again, like, I felt it melded some of the stories of Faize that I remember with, like, the theme of friendship from Fourze, which kind of went with Takumi, you know, and Kaise as well. And also, I was a little disappointed we didn't get a moment of Takumi being actual Takumi, because he didn't remember he was Faize, because he never really got that moment. But I have to say, those two felt the most like themselves of any of the other writers so far when they weren't writers, you know, when they were past writer, what do they call it, like beyond writer? I don't remember what the .5 called it, but you know what I mean. Like when they don't remember who they are, they felt the most like themselves. I kind of hope we get to see them down the road later, just to see, like, Takumi as Faize, even though, you know what I mean. But they felt the most like it. I thought they did a good job of tying that together. The friendship theme again with Sogo and Gates and him trying to extend an olive branch. Although, you know, the day is saved, but also we've destroyed now 2 parts of the timeline no one else seems to still care. Like, they're like, la la la, lunch, ending, happy montage, and the narration's like, ah, we're getting closer to Omagio. I'm like, does no one care that we're still destroying the timeline? Like, it just bothers me. Like, somebody at some point has to stop and say, this has to stop, right? Right? But yeah, I thought this was a very strong episode. I mean, there's still some messy bits to the way Geo works in general, but I thought this episode succeeded in using the elements that we've come to know from Geo. And like I said, elements from both Faize and Fourze. I'd love to see that continue in the future. I was also thinking in this episode, because Takumi acted so much like himself, also, I got like a wave of nostalgia when he was drinking the tea and he said too hot. Anyway, little touches like that. They've had a pretty good job of little touches, whether they're reference lines from the show or aesthetics or lining up previous scenarios. I think that's neat. Anyway, if we met a writer in the future, one of the actors that's coming back, that despite Bokinsha, that despite what happened to the timeline, still remembers being a writer, I think that would be a cool twist. Because every time, you know, another writer's born, we just assume we're gonna get this amnesiac version. Not like an amnesiac version, just a writer like this one. So I think it would be cool, like, because we're just gonna assume to have this this amnesiac version, to have a writer all of a sudden lose their powers from the another writer existing but still remember. I don't think we could get the actor, because I feel like he went on to do other things, but I think Ryotaro from Den-O would be the perfect character for that. Because wait, is he a singularity point? Yeah, he's a singularity point, right? Yeah, but like the idea of singularity points in Den-O, where you exist no matter what happens to the timeline, would be like the perfect thing for having a writer actually remember themselves. But I don't know, maybe they could use that with somebody else? Well, who knows, we'll see. But yeah, overall, I thought this was Geo's strongest outing. I would give it an 8. I'm feeling generous today. I don't know if it's technically worthy of an 8, but I found it to be an 8 on enjoyment. I hope they keep this up. I'd love to see them mix up the formula a little bit. And just, this felt like more of a quality episode, in my opinion. Anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget, comment, subscribe, and of course, don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for all my videos. Next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out. But I made it sound like I'm waiting till next time to sign out, which I'm going to do. Cliffhanger!